Insecurity in Nigeria. Foreign elements facilitate sale of weapons to terrorists, coalition alleges. This coalition is Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, a coalition of Nigerian civil society organizations led by the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, has alleged that some foreign elements are now helping arms suppliers to sell more weapons to terrorists in Nigeria. The coalition also accused the foreign elements of fanning the embers of hatred against Nigerian security agencies, especially in army, by peddling false or exaggerated accusations supposedly to weaken the security system in its fight against rampaging terrorists. As you all are aware, Boko Haram and ISIS of West Africa attacks against government and security forces and civilians in northeast Nigeria have resulted in deaths, injuries, abductions, and the capture and destruction of properties. The coalition noted in a press conference in Abuja on Friday. Worrisome is that the Boko Haram attacks did not discriminate between civilians and government officials, whereas ISIS of West Africa generally but always focus attacks on government and society security forces. The implementation of the Nigerian military super camp strategy, which began in 2019, was designed to stop losses which terrorists overran forward operating bases. As a defensive military strategy, the decision to consolidate the posture into super camps is working. Sadly, some foreign media elements fanning the embers of hatred against Nigerian army are peddling false or exaggerated accusations supposedly to weaken the Nigerian army and help armed supplies to sell more weapons to terrorists. We have privileged information that a foreign media platform is planning a sinister story on the Nigerian war on terror. They want to raise allegations of secret abortion clinics in the Northeast, whereby over 200 kids born through the rape of captured women by Boko Haram commanders were aborted without the permission of the women who were raped. The coalition said the military is also being accused of decimating children of Boko Haram fighters and is saying they will file a petition to the ICC. They accuse the Nigerian army of running these abortion clinics and mass burials of kids killed deliberately by the army, but gave no concrete evidence of where those mass graves are located, it added. We, the coalition of civil society organizations, are very concerned about the foreign media plotting to circulate the story which will undermine Nigeria's national security. The coalition recalled that the said medium had recently hastily accused Russia of being responsible for the missiles incident that killed 2 people in Polish territory, which turned out that they were missiles fired by Ukrainians to stop Russian bombs. Many foreign media have shifted to a point where they want to publish stories that sell, looking at how much they will get out of the story without minding more about who is affected or who is not affected. That is why you find many of them sensationalizing issues instead of reporting for the good, the coalition lamented. Wow, the Nigerian army deserves the gratitude and commendation of the nation and the international society, not this sinister plot by routers to distract and weaken efforts in fight against terrorism. Again, the sponsors of this campaign of falsehood and calumny must not be allowed to achieve their evil plans. If we sit back and fold our arms whilst this evil is allowed to fester, then we will be shooting ourselves in the foot. destroying the achievements the Nigerian Army has made so far against terrorism. We are by this statement calling on Nigerian government to warn against foreign media stoking embers of hatred against the Nigerian Army. Reuters is on the vanguard of destroying the credibility of the Nigerian Army with unsubstantiated propaganda, which is enough to undermine our national security. Successive chiefs of army staff and especially Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai during his 5-year stint did a lot to mainstream promotion and protection of human rights in the daily operations of the army. Who is writing this? Because is it not the same Buratai that under his nose in 2020 October to October 20 that NSAS had the worst massacre ever in the history of Nigeria in recent times? So how can this group be coming here and be praising Nigerian army like this? Are you sure these people are not paid to write this? Unequivocally, the allegation of human rights abuses against the Nigerian army, particularly in the conduct of counter-insurgency operation, were issues of great concern to T.Y. Buratai, who assured that they took various actions to guarantee that rights violations by Nigerian army personnel are fully curtailed. Therefore, we urge the current Chief of Army Staff to note that it is important that some of these significant approaches introduced as aforementioned towards improving the consistent dialogues between the Army and the civil society, and then Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, right, are adopted by the current hierarchies of the armed forces of the Nigeria if the military ever hope to win the hearts and mind of the people of Nigeria. So Uriwa has written now, and I can see the summary here, that all right, that foreign media is responsible for passing wrong message to the rest of the world as if Nigeria is broken completely, so that they can sell arms, helping to to support those people that are selling arms to terrorists to continue to enter Nigeria. Right? So they are calling on people who are actually peddling false rumor about the state of insecurity in Nigeria to desist from it. All right? Reuters have been fingered here as a major international media that is spreading false news and aiding and abetting the sales of arms to terrorists in Nigeria. All right? So Reuters have been fingered seriously here, and the Reuters need to be careful or counter this information if it is not true about them. So that is what is happening here. And so Uriwa is complaining that foreign elements are actually facilitating this by the way they publish media story about the state of insecurity in Nigeria. We know that the kind of ammunition these people have, they are brought from outside the country, probably some outside West African countries or from somewhere else. The whole armory in Nigeria cannot be depleted, given to those people, even if it is military sabotage within the military. So, and I know that when there's a war, that's when some people make money, especially in arms deal, just like it's happening in Ukraine and Russia now. All right, America and UK are sending ammunition. Are you sure all of them are free? Are you sure some of them are not sold? All right, so that is what Uriwa is saying, that these agencies, a good example is the Reuters, are facilitating the weapon sales to the terrorists in Nigeria to continue to perpetuate their agenda. And that will be very, very, very bad. So government is supposed to wake up and checkmate this. Where I disagree a bit with what Uriwa is writing here is that with former Chief of Army Staff Tukur Buratai was one of the best and did very well to control terrorism under his cover. But that is not true. The whole Nigeria, as I speak today, hate Buratai because of the level of terrorizing, the military terrorizing the civilians under his group, under his watch, as the Chief of Army Staff. It was under him too that this NSAS massacre took place at Lekki Toll Gate in Lagos. And then he was even invited to explain his part. But you trust Nigeria now. That investigation, that panel, they finished, they submitted their report. But where is it now? Who is implementing recommendation from that panel? Nobody. So it was just an academic exercise to prove to Nigeria they were doing something. But nothing came out of it. So I disagree that Buratai did enough. He did not do anything. He actually promoted Northern Agenda when he was there, because he was also one of the persons busy sending security support to support the Fulanis in the bush and to fight against the natives that owned the farm and the bush where the Fulanis were using for grazing. All right. So Buratai cannot be the best and will not be the best because he was bent on fulfilling Buhari's government agenda. So that is what we have, and thank you for listening. This is what Uriwa is writing, that foreign agencies are facilitating the sales of arms and ammunition to terrorists in Nigeria to continue to perpetuate the ungodly activity that is currently ongoing, that is aggravating our insecurity in Nigeria. So let me also have your comment, and thank you for listening.